Alberto Valle is next, and he is going to be talking about payroll processing. How do you pay your employees? How do you organize that? And he offers payroll processing services and additional human resource services through Benefit Mall. The services include paying employees accurately and on time, tax liabilities, labor laws, Affordable Care Act. He brings to the table over 10 years of small business banking experience from lending, working capital, marketing, and human resources, and he's helped companies from 1 to 950 employees.
Woo! I have been in the banking world for a little bit over 10 years. I help companies from construction industries, retail, health industries, and many more. I help them out in the areas of lending, being able to receive credit card payments, and of course payroll. For the past 5 years, I've actually only focused on working with small business owners, small to medium-sized business owners, helping them pay their employees accurately and, of course, on time. So why companies outsource their payroll? It's pretty simple. It's scary. IRS. Do you guys have employees? Any of you have employees? Excellent. Do you guys more or less know how many payroll calculations it takes to actually pay one employee going from gross through net?
Oh, gross through net? Oh, geez, I have 4 employees, and it's always like hundreds of dollars every month.
Yeah, so but you have it through maybe QuickBooks or
yeah. Well, I have a
software.
family member who does it for me, but perfect. Yes.
Yeah. So why they outsource the payroll? So to pay an employee from gross through net, calculating their hours, getting their gross, and factoring in the employees' exceptions, if they're married, single, if they have benefits, vacation, whatever it is, it's over 250 calculations to pay one employee. Now, that's not the end of it. What happens now? So you actually calculate, your employees' pay, you withhold from the check, and you give them the check, and like moves on, right? Well, it's not that simple. Now, a business owner has to turn around and make their tax deposits. They have 5 tax agencies, so they have to make the payments to accurately, on time. Do you guys know what the average penalty is for a payroll mistake or miscalculation? No? Well, guess?
No, more than 10%.
What's that?
It's a little more. So I've seen $1,200. I actually have a copy of one, but the average payroll penalty is $900 plus interest.
Oh.
That is huge.
So how do you get into that situation?
Well, let's say that you're paying employee pay, and you made a mistake, and let's say that you were supposed to pay $5,000, $5,033 in taxes to the IRS, and you say, well, you know what, I'm a little generous. I want to go ahead and round it out to 5,000, maybe 5,001, right? Well, that's a miscalculation.
So you can even miscalculate the positive for the employee and still be fine.
That is correct. One of my clients actually miscalculated he overpaid 37 cents. He got a $1,200 bill.
What?
Wow.
Yeah, well, they're just looking for an excuse to actually charge you. It's a miscalculation. That's just what it is.
I have another example. So employers are responsible for the state of employment side of the insurance. Your rate changes based on the amount of claims you guys have for the employees. So it's basically like your car insurance. The less claims you have, the lower your insurance is good to go. For the first 3 years as an employer, you start at a 2.95 percentage rate. After 3 years, if you had no claims, it starts climbing down. And if you start having claims, it starts climbing up. So they send you guys notices of the rate change. Well, if you guys don't give those notices to your accountant, or if you guys don't calculate that specific rate change into the payroll when you're making the tax deposit, it's not going to match on the state of employment based on the rate they gave you. So having a third-party administrator like us, we would manage that and make sure that the rate is always accurate and that the notices are coming to us That way, if there is a rate change, we can implement that. And that's one of the 6. In Nevada, we have 6 different tax deposits that have to be done when it comes to payroll. So the employer side, the employee side will be Social Security, Medicare, and federal taxes. On the employer side, you have Medicare and Social Security, no federal calculation, and then you have state unemployment, federal unemployment, modified business tax, and bond factor. So those all have to be calculated every payroll to determine what those tax payments have to be, and they all have to be done accurately.
Yeah. I think that was it. Just killed half of my questions. Just kidding.
Okay.
Yeah, just kidding. In addition to that, guys, not all different taxes are actually paid at the same time. For example, you have food out, which is, due again a year. Then you have quarterly returns. You have your 941s, goes to the federal and the state employment. They're due on a quarterly basis, and we do those 4 times a year. So it's a lot, and it's one of the reasons why companies actually outsource payroll. Going from companies who actually hire 1 employee have the same responsibilities that a company has, 1,000 employees. So 6 factors the business needs to consider around payroll and having employees is, of course, hiring employees. What is the proper procedure of actually hiring an employee? You have a great dream about opening a business. You have your doors open, ready to go. You got cashiers, you got merchandise, you're ready to go. Now comes, you grew a little. It's everyone's business dream is to grow your business, right? So with that comes employees. What is the proper procedure of actually hiring an employee, processing corrective action for your employees if you're having issues, and ultimately, what is the proper procedure of terminating that employee? It actually ties into HR and work well together. And that actually comes with the responsibility of the employer. The first thing you got to do is, just come up with a business plan, have their employee handbook, something they can reference, and they can utilize when they're actually hiring their employees, letting them know, this is the guidelines to my business. This is what I expect of you. If you neglect to do so, then you get a write-up or maybe termination. Main reason for the employee handbook is to protect yourself as business owners from having that employee go to the state unemployment office and say, this gentleman just terminated me for no reason, can't pay my rent, I need set employment. Now what happens to your state unemployment taxes? They start going up. Like I mentioned, the more things you have, the more it impacts your pocketbook. Traditional in-house payroll management. The great thing about running payroll in-house, when it comes to being a business owner, is that it gives you a sense that you're in control over your payroll. And when I say that is, every time you're paying your employees, you have to sit down in front of a computer. You have to add employees, add up all the hours, all the changes. You can certainly run your payroll on your own pace and on your own time, but it does add up a lot of hours and unnecessary. You're really wasting your time when it comes to running your business and making money. Time and attendance, guys. So time and attendance is basically a way for business owners to actually keep track of their employee hours. Do you guys have a time and attendance in place?
Yeah, I have they log in on the computer every time they come in, they log out when they do, so I can get them properly for their hours.
Okay, perfect.
It's like a time clock.
Oh, there you go, perfect. Do you use a number or code?
Yeah, they have their own special code that they use that only they have.
Okay.
So that way I know who's in and who's out.
Okay, perfect. What if you're not in the business and someone's running late and it's one of their friends?
They cannot change it because I have safeguards in there that I have access to certain fields that they don't, and all they have access to is to clock in and clock out. If I need to manipulate their hours, I need it in writing, and I go in there and I go into my back office and I can manipulate the hours. Now I'm the one who has access to that.
So you have a time and attendance system. Nice one.
I hope so. Yeah, it's pretty good. I got it working pretty good now.
What I was actually trying to get to is actually a way of eliminating buddy punching. So buddy punching, typically, you have a code to clock in, maybe a card. Basically what that is I'm running late, and I call Jose, which I was late today to work, by the way, sorry. And you know, I'm running 10-15 minutes late. I got a warning last week, and you know, my job depends on it. So I call Jose, hey, can you do me a favor, can you clock me in? I'm just gonna be in a couple minutes late. I was just like, hey, you know what, I'll take care of it. Well, guess what? That actually ends out being wages paid for not worked hours. Does that make sense? Which translates into our next subject, which is workers' compensation. So workers' comp is actually calculated through employee hours that are actually being worked. It's not it's not cheap, but it's a necessity nowadays. You know, God forbid, you know, one of your employees actually gets injured in the job. You know, if you don't have workers' compensation, it's going to come and impact you personally. So again, having that time and attendance, eliminating buddy punching saves hours and saves workers' compensation as well. Do you guys have? I'm sure you have a policy in workers' comp, right?
Oh yeah. Actually, to give you guys an idea, I don't mean to cut you off on your thing, but to give you guys an idea, I actually got sued by the state of Nevada last year for workers' comp because my workers' comp actually expired, and I didn't even know it. They sent me a letter, and I was only gone. I only had it. I didn't have it for 3 months because I changed my insurance carrier. I went from Farmers to American National, and American National didn't carry that like Farmers did, and so my thing expired. The state sued me. I had to pay a fine and all this kind of stuff and do all this. This is another reason why I have all these policies in place. This is why this is important to me. Because the state came after me over one thing, and I didn't even have a claim or anything.
Well, and you're lucky because now they're taking it very seriously, and it's a statute that you have it, and so they will send it to the Attorney General as well.
That's what happened to me. I got sent to the Attorney General, and I got audited, and all this kind of stuff happened to me as well. This all happened last year for one of my businesses.
Yeah.
So I'm very familiar with how this whole process works.
Thank God you're only audited and you're fine.
Yeah, it was
but
audited.
if someone would have
fine.
gotten injured, you know, I mean.
Oh man, that would have just been a nightmare. I'd have been in really big trouble. Yeah.
So, and correct me if I'm wrong. So you probably have a traditional policy, is that right? That you actually, you know, go to Farmers, for example, get a policy. You know, depending on how many employees you have, how many hours they work, and they give a yearly premium. You have to come up with a 25% down payment, and you got a monthly thing.
Exactly.
And at the end of the year, you have to go through the audits, which, you know, might take weeks sometimes. If depending on what payroll provider you actually work with, we have something, you can actually eliminate that process and pay as you go. So what payroll providers actually do for you guys is we actually we communicate directly with your insurance provider, and because we know how many employees you currently have, how many hours they're working, who's on vacation, who's not, you actually get charged. You don't have to come up with a hefty down payment, and your monthly premium actually fluctuates. So if you hire more employees, then your premium, yeah, it's going to go up, but you're not going to have a surprise at the end of the year. And then during your slower months, if you drop employees, so maybe they're not working the 40 hours, then your premium actually lowers. Make sense? And that's something that we can actually provide to you guys. What's something to have? Nothing, all right. Well, sorry guys, I'm out of time. This is a lot of information. Just a little bit about outsourcing to the right payroll provider. So you guys want to search or look for a provider that has a seamlessly integrated system that can actually talk to your workers' compensation. It can integrate with your time and attendance. It can talk to your accountant, your CPA, your benefit provider. So that way it actually syncs everything in all in one, in one platform instead of actually going from here, point A to point Z. You know, when it comes to processing your payroll.
So like a one-stop shop for payroll.
Exactly.
Everything in one.
Exactly. Yeah. And the other thing, the other benefits, you know, when it comes to hiring the right payroll provider is employee benefits as well. Not just, you know, their actual insurance benefits and all that, but actually being able to provide a self-service platform so employees can go in and update their banking information for direct deposit. They move their addresses, their check stubs online. If you're busy business owners, you know that, you know, employees come at you at the worst possible time to get check stubs because they're trying to buy a car. So that eliminates all of that, and, you know, makes it a more efficient way to keep track of employees, HR, and your payroll processing. That's all I got. Any questions?
What's number 6? We gotta move on.
I had to.
But you can find it on the website. All the articles are on the website.
And I was working on this yesterday with last minute. Sorry.
Forget his business card.
I do have one thing to add. When he was talking about how to protect, employees from clocking in other employees when they're not working, I used to have a company that had over 60 employees, and this was happening at that business. And what I did was, and I've actually moved this forward to all my businesses now too, where every business I have has an alarm system, and hopefully you guys do too. It's important to have, especially the brick and mortar business. And with that alarm system, you got to give each one of your employees a code. And so what I did is I made the code on the alarm system the same code they have to log into when they clock in and out. And that makes the employee know never to give out their alarm code, so they'll never give out their code to clocking them in and out. So I've never ever had a problem since then, because the alarm code they have to keep private. If somebody uses their code and my stuff gets broken into, now they're on the hook. And that's a legal matter for them that I don't want to be a part of. So that's how just to let you know, that's kind of how I circumvented that, because I did have issues with what you were talking about at the time.
And I was going to dive into that a little more, but I know I'm done. But we do have a system that I can actually, read your thumbprint, so that way it actually eliminates body punching. So unless you want to do that, get a chop your finger out.